Welcome to the Patriot Training YouTube channel. My name is Clay Howell. I am the owner and head firearms instructor at Patriot Training. The topic of this video is Take That Class. At Patriot Training, we emphasize the training. There is very good training to be had out there, both with Patriot Training as well as with some other organizations and schools. Many instructors, many academies. This video is aimed at a person that's had their eye on a class, either with Patriot Training or at some other academy. Let me start by saying we could sum it up all right now, right here, and say, take that class. Absolutely. Also, one of the reasons you might be on this channel is that you want some advice, you want some pro tips on how to maximize your training days, whether you take the class with Patriot Training or with somebody else. And myself and the other instructors at Patriot Training, we have thousands of hours of training under our belts with one another, with other instructors, other schools, other academies, other outfits. And we have had many, many, many good days of training, my friends, and a few bad ones too. So you might well be here to learn from our success and to learn from our failure too. Probably the two best pieces of advice I could give you if you're thinking about taking a class and if you want to maximize your day at the range when you're in that class, if at first you do not succeed, try doing it the way the instructor showed you at the beginning. If you try to jury rig it, do not expect success. If most people had success doing it the weird way you're trying to do it, then that's what the instructors would teach. The vast majority of us were not married to a particular technique. We just teach it because it works, my friends. Possibly the single best thing that you can do to improve your shooting, improve your tactical abilities, improve your day at class and your life as a whole is to lose weight and get in shape. Maintain a healthy weight. If you are fat, lose weight. Healthy at any size isn't. Get to the gym and eat right. And as a reminder, if you're fat, you are neither in shape nor the right weight. I'm pretty blunt. Another thing to keep in mind when you want to take that class, the instructors and the coaches are there to help you. When they come up and offer correction, best thing you can reply with is yes sir or yes ma'am appropriately. They are trying to help you get better. That's their purpose. They don't hate you. They are not attacking you because you did something less than perfectly. That's not the point. They are trying to help you do it better. If your first thought when offered some correction is to say, but, and then fill in the blank, then you are trying to make a point, which means you are not trying to learn. So step 1, shut up. Step 2, say yes sir, yes ma'am. Step 3, do it like they say. Really simple. If you're offered correction and your first thought is defensive in nature, but I learned this somewhere, or this is how it works, or it works for me, whatever your excuse, you need to learn this new skill. Under no circumstances should you entertain the thought of getting into a back and forth of your supposed knowledge. And trust me, if at the end of a discussion, if you feel the obligation to say, well, works for me as your final show up and show out, trust me, we understand as instructors that you just gave up. It doesn't work for you. You haven't practiced it. You weren't taught that by anybody. You haven't trained it, and you are not good at it. We get it. That's okay. That doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you somebody who needs a little bit of education on a gun skill. That's okay. Some things that you should do. You should drink water. You should drink more water than you think you need to drink. When I teach a class, I drink about a gallon of water a day. I've been talking for 6 minutes and I'm also trying to get thirsty right now. The next thing you should do is you should listen to instruction and do it. At the same time, you should pay attention to detail. It's not the same as listening to instruction. You should bring the supplies listed. Don't try to go off of something else. AR shooters, bring brass cased ammunition. AK and SKS shooters, bring your steel cased ammunition. Pistol, bring brass cased ammunition. Arrive early. Take notes. Feels too much like school. You're paying somebody $500, $600, $700, whatever the case may be. You may want to jot down what they have to say so you can remember it. Some of the best learning I get is when I go back in my old notebooks and I review notes. When they teach you a new lesson module, focus on doing that lesson module and that exercise exactly as it was taught and shown. Make sure your rifle is zeroed with the exact same ammunition you will use. Make sure your rifle optic is on the rifle and is tightened down. It's a bunch of things to do. Now let's talk about what you should avoid. Avoid trying to compare yourself with another participant in class. That's not going to end well. Avoid falling into the trap of trying to pass the class. Avoid arriving late. Avoid being negligent with safety. You must have 100% focus on safety at all times. I would suggest that when you go to somebody's school, that you avoid making suggestions in the middle of class about the material or adding your thoughts. Did nobody pay you to teach the class? Now, I advocate that you take that class. And also, I have stated that I have had a couple of stinkers for classes. It is possible, however unlikely, that the academy you train with will not have all of their ducks in a row. That could happen anywhere with anything. Of course, your primary number one concern will need to be safety. I have trained at a school that some online yahoos call very unsafe, and not seen a single safety issue. Obviously, the statement can be subjective. Maybe there was a different circumstance, what have you. And things are not always black and white. And so because of that, because things are not always black and white, let's just look for some red flags, some lines that should not be crossed. What are some of these potential red flags, you might ask? If they do not have a safety briefing and a stated protocol in place prior to shooting, run. Do not walk. They are not taking your safety seriously. A school that was doing a training session, a class at the range I partner with, I reached out to the head instructor and I said, hey, I've got this range safety bag. It's got tourniquets, gauze for wound packing, all these sorts of things. You are welcome to use it if you wish. And the instructor's reply was, no, thank you, we won't need it. You better believe I'm not going to go to that class. The second red flag you might see is you might see a lack of an organized syllabus, or they don't stick to the syllabus as printed. This one's really tough for me to swallow. I have had some classes with some outfits that had a lack of an organized syllabus, and they did not stick with the material that they taught. For Patriot Training, for our classes, we have an organized syllabus for every class that accounts for every minute of each and every day you train with us. And if an instructor, myself included, ever fails to deliver that syllabus as promised, the most current and up-to-date one, when you take the class, that instructor does not work another Patriot Training event ever again, period. As an instructor, if you were to say, well, this is the part of the syllabus I don't agree with, you've just told everybody you're a big piece of crap. You are subhuman and you're saying, well, I teach this but not that, and you're now associating yourself with something that you say you can't do, you can't advocate, and that's called being hypocritical. You're a piece of crap. You don't need to be teaching firearms, period. Similarly, if they lack an organized syllabus, they don't have your training and education in mind. If they can't outline a simple outline of what you should be learning for each segment, then there's no way that they could possibly be taking any of the rest of this seriously. The third and final one is, it's a gray area to be sure, but there are certain parts. If there is a lack of a minimum amount of professionalism, then you seriously do not need to train with that school anymore. Some schools, there is foul language. Certainly at Patriot Training that has happened as well. That's not what I'm talking about. Different school owners, I've been to schools where, the head instructor has on a t-shirt like I'm wearing now with the company logo and blue jeans, and that's fine. Or, we in classes, we have a polo or some kind of a button-up shirt that has the Patriot Training logo and like some khakis or some cargo pants or something semi-business professional. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about running the class professionally. There's no way I'd ever belittle a student in front of class. I'm going to offer positive suggestions instead. So there needs to be a minimum amount of professionalism. You are accepting somebody's hard-earned money, in exchange for knowledge and a classroom experience, and you need to provide that, and that is professionalism. So that's all for this video, my friends. I'd like to remind you that you do not have to be a patriot to train, but you do have to train to be a real patriot. Take care.